ETF Inspector. It's Tuesday, May 13th, about 7:45, and we will be going over trades and holdings and market value increases based on the trading day today for ULTY, YieldMax's Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF. All right, so before we hit the spreadsheet, obviously, if you saw the market today, it was another one of those absolutely insane green days for the most part. Now, we had a few in ULTY that lost some value. AST, Space Mobile, Alibaba, Webull, and MP Materials Corp. But the ones that won blew right through all the calls pretty much. Coinbase up almost 24%. First Solar up over 22%. Hims and Hers up almost 16%. Just calling out the real high ones. Oklo up 11%. SMCI 16+%. And those are the most, the double digit moves. All right, ended up being a lot of trades today. Felt like a Friday due to all the action blowing through the calls, so they had to close them out and open new ones. So just to give you a big picture, and for some reason it took forever. These usually come out around 5:30. I've been sitting at my kids' swim practice all night waiting for these to come out so I could update spreadsheets, and they came out right at the end. But so these are all the trades just made in the ULTY fund just today. All right, so we'll go over them right after we look at the value increases. All right, so if you're new here, this is today's close. We've got the previous close and all the previous pricing on the options. I don't sit there and update every one of those. I'd have to look them up individually. I just wait till I'm done, download the holdings, and then put it all in. So, but I do show the percentage in or out of the money for the options based off of the close price today. So you'll know how today's action, up or down, affected the options. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about how far in or out of the money they are, since they had to end up closing out so many of them and moving them. So it would just end up being a large waste of your time. So obviously this is going to be like some of those other days. This is the biggest one we've seen so far, where we've got an absolute enormous change in market value for the good, and that's going to relate inversely to our options trading, where if they had calls sold, which is what this fund does, they lost money on them, having to close them and open new ones. So, all right, let's get right into it. So, a couple of losers: ASTS down 2.25%, or $198,000, closing at $26.25. Alibaba, or BABA, down 0.68% to $131.65, a loss of $63,000. Webull, or BULL, down 0.71% to $13.99, a loss of $40,000 in value. And again, before I go too far, these are not realized gains or losses because they didn't sell their shares, right? So this is just the change in market value. Kava Group up 0.97% to $99.70, a gain of $86,000. And here we're talking Coinbase up almost 24% to $256.90, a gain in value of almost $2.3 million. Carvana up 4.81% to $293.06, a gain of $336,000. First Solar up 22.66% to $191.60, a gain of over $1.5 million. You'll notice I'm zoomed back out a little bit. I went to the 140 so you could see it better on your screen, but then it was causing way too much scrolling back and forth just to see what I was talking about. So I had to trying to find a happy medium. Hims and Hers, HIMS, up almost 16% to $64 even, a gain of $2.4 million. Robinhood up nearly 9% to $62.57, gain of $1.1 million in value. IONQ up 1% even to 33.22, gain of 107,000. Mara Holdings up 2.63% to $16.37, a gain of $262,000. MP Materials Corp down 1.75% to $20.77, a loss of $103,000. This one I will tell you about just for a second. They closed this position out today, so bought to close the calls, sold to close the puts, and sold the 280,000 shares. So we are no longer covering MP Materials Corp. MicroStrategy, or it's just strategy now, MSTR, up 4.13% to 421.61, a gain of 634,000. Nvidia up 5.63 to 129.93, a gain of 700,000. Oklo up over 11% to 32.03, a gain of 954,000. Palantir, PLTR, up 8.14% to 128.10, a gain of 1.2, almost 1.3 million. Reddit up 1.47% to $112.84, a gain of 163,000. Rigetti down. Oh man, did I miss color in that one? I might have missed color in that one red on the thumbnail. We'll see. Lost almost 15% to $9.86, a loss of over $500,000. RH down 0.16% to $225.67, a loss of $7,000. SMCI, Super Micro Computer Inc., up 16.02% to $38.89, gain of $724,000. Snowflake up, a little over 0.25% to $181.02, a gain of $21,000. To our triple leveraged funds, TNA up 1.11% to $30.95, gain in value of $124,000, and TQQQ up 4.58% to $69.14, a gain of $742,000. Tesla up nearly 5% to $334.07, $721,000 added to the value. Upstart Holdings up 1.36% to $53.68, a gain of $159,000. Vertiv Holdings up almost 4.5% to $105.58, gain of $326,000. And Vista Corp up 6.1% to $155, a gain in value of $623,000. That totals over $14 million in value added on a $280 million fund. What's that, 5% in one day? Am I doing that math right? All right. So again, this doesn't update till after I change everything to the left, but ULTY did close at 628. Obviously, the NAV is going to go up. Generally, ULTY trades right around its NAV, so it's going to be within pennies. All right, let's take a look at the trades. So I've explained it before. Buying or selling the shares of the stock, which isn't really the strategy. I don't end up including that in the the trading income portion. Maybe I should. We'll see if my numbers don't seem to match up compared to what they're paying out, then we'll make some changes. But so they got $5.8 million selling MP Materials Corp, but that's a one-time, right? They closed it out, so we no longer have that stock. As far as our options income is concerned, we lost $1.1 million closing out the coin collars, right? The sold calls and the purchased puts. So they had to move these up, right? Closed out the 212.50. No, I'm sorry. Closed out the 212.50 and bought a 252. Shoo, sorry for that. Okay, yeah. So they had to move that way up. Had to pay $27 per share on 460 contracts, each contract worth 100 shares. So that was painful. First Solar, another one that went through the roof, right? They paid $40+ to close out per share on 450 contracts to close these out at 146, moved them up to 195, lost $1.6 million. Robinhood closed out the 56s, moved them up to 63s, that cost $1 million. MP, this was just closing out the everything. This was a win, right? They obviously closed out 2,800 contracts at 5 cents a share. That's beautiful. So their last deal with the MP, they made decent money on the options, but apparently the volatility or something about it they didn't like anymore. So they're done with that. Nvidia, they moved it from 120 up to 132. That cost them roughly $867,000. Right, they had to pay over $9 a share to close those out. And again, I'm not talking about the puts. The puts are basically insurance policy. You're making your money short selling the call, and then hoping that you end up getting to buy it back for cheaper. You also buy the put to go with it just to protect your shares that you have in case it goes down. So you make a little bit of money sometimes when you sell them to close. But as you see on this one, they made 1 cent per share. Oklo closed out the $30.50 calls, moved them up to 35, and the associated puts cost $699,000 on the trading day for that. Palantir, however you say it, moved from 120s up to 134s. That cost over $500,000. Rigetti, they actually did well because this stock went down. So they closed out the 13s for 3 cents and sold $11.50 for 12 cents. So a net profit of $35,000. RH, they closed out the 205 calls, moved them up to 235s. That cost $435,000. SMCI closed out the $34 calls, had to move them up to 41s. Overall, it cost over $600,000. TQQQ had to pay $643 a share on 2,450 contracts, closing out the 6250s, moved them up to 71. And even those are kind of close. I think we said it ended around 69 or something like that. That cost $1.4 million. VRT, Vertiv, closed out the $98 calls, moved them up to 110s. Overall, lost $568,000. And Vistra Corp, they closed out the $142 calls, opened up $160 calls, and that cost them $857,000. So we'll scroll back up. All right, so for the day, we went up in value $14 million. In trades, we lost $9.7 million. So overall, it's a win, but, that hurts. So we'll see. I mean, if they're counting that $5.8 million made on the sale, then this only ends up being a $4 million loss on the trading day. So in any case, just so you can tell what I got going on here, I've been moving things around a little bit. So we learned from Retire on Dividends interview with the YieldMax fund managers that they do go Monday through Friday, and even though they don't announce until Wednesday, they're taking it based off of the trades Monday through Friday, and then following Monday starts the data collection for the next one after that. So I've got the line here. That's our cutoff, right? I said our based on the money they made, it came out to a little over 3 cents. If I based it off of the implied volatility, I'm coming up with 4.5 cents. I still don't think they're going to pay either of those that low. I think that would end up being kind of ugly for the fund. So I think they're going to pay more. Let me know what you think. I don't think they're going to pay too much below 8 cents, even if they have a bad week. But we'll find out. And we're off to a good week value-wise, right? We've made $26.5 million in value added, lost nearly 10. So, all right, that was a lot of information for you. It felt like a Friday, so we'll go ahead and end this. I appreciate you sticking around. I'll give you the dad joke of the day. Got to come up with 2 of them now since I'm making 2 videos a day. So, bought a pair of sneakers from a drug dealer yesterday. I don't know what they're laced with, but I've been tripping all day. All right, thank you guys. Please like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. Right. Appreciate all the comments, all the conversations, and all the help I've had getting started. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.